Hi, my name is Tom Gelati. I am a U.S. Air Force officer and pilot. The views expressed in this video are my own and do not necessarily reflect official policy or position of the Department of the Air Force, Department of Defense, or the U.S. government. Thank you for watching this video. As a reminder, this video is part of a series of videos explaining the situation of my family. After much reflection, guidance, and prayer, I have decided to share our story. My hope is to save my family from the situation we are in. But just as important, I hope to effect policy change to prevent other families from going through a similar situation in the future. Okay, so just as a disclaimer for this video and future videos, I will be referencing emails that I have shared with others, also documents. So I'm going to be reading a lot. I apologize that I'll not be looking directly at the camera and engaging with the audience for this video. Please understand that this is not for entertainment. This is, as I described in the beginning, an effort to share the story of my family, really to gain advocacy for my son, but also to gain advocacy for policy change in the future. I don't know if this will have that effect. I can only hope and pray that it will, and I can only share the story and let God do the rest, and hope that whatever his plan for this situation and our family and future families, that it is a perfect plan. So I'm going to start with an email that I shared with several news media outlets in the U.S. I'm going to read through that, which gives a brief description of the situation. That'll be the first video. From there, I will then go on to make several other videos describing other engagements with the German family court, with other entities here in Germany, which is where we are, and I apologize, I should have said that at the beginning. So my family is in Germany right now. We are all American citizens, and of course, all of this will be explained in this first email that I will read through here momentarily. But if this is your first time watching or you do not know my family, that kind of sets the stage for the situation. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and read this first email, which will give more of a background to our story. I'm an active duty U.S. Air Force captain and C-130 pilot. I'm writing, or now reading, as the father of my 11-year-old son who's being held captive by the German courts. In 2018, my wife, our son, and the family dog and I moved from the U.S. to Germany as part of a military 3-year permanent change of station, or PCS. We are all American citizens. In the summer of 2021, my wife began demonstrating overtly erratic and unusual behaviors. Her paranoid behaviors led her to approach the Air Force Family Advocacy Office with allegations of misbehavior on my part. The result of the interviews conducted by the Family Advocacy Office was that her allegations were unfounded. Due to what the social worker assigned to our case observed, in collaboration with the Family Advocacy Officer, a licensed clinical psychologist, they recommended that my wife seek treatment in the Hamburg Psychiatric Clinic for a period of 3 to 4 weeks. So that is inpatient care. Unfortunately, my wife refused to follow the recommendations and insisted their office never contact her again. Around this time, she moved from our shared home and we separated. The week after the termination of contact with family advocacy personnel, my wife removed our son from school and kept him isolated in her apartment for nearly 6 weeks. She refused all communication between her and me, and between our son and me. She also refused to take him to school. In November of 2021, we began a shared custody schedule after my wife filed for custody with the German family court. In February of 2022, our son asked the judge and his court-appointed guardian Ad Litem for more time with me, resulting in a 50-50 time-sharing arrangement. Because of the Hague Convention and the UCCJEA, the German family court is allowed to retain jurisdiction over the custody of our son as long as my wife refuses to leave Germany, which she has done since 2021. Because she is a civilian, the DoD, or Department of Defense, cannot force her to leave in the same military orders that brought her here with her family. My German lawyer and I have supplied the courts with ample evidence of my wife's mental health condition and how it has negatively affected our son. We have demonstrated this behavior to the lower and higher courts here for over 2 years. My wife suffers from extreme mood swings, irrational behavior, and impaired judgment. She has presented with what appears to be manic episodes, delusional thinking patterns, and possible psychotic breaks. She has a documented history of neglect and abuse of both partner and child. This was documented not only through family advocacy, but in the court-ordered evaluation, otherwise known as an expert opinion, completed by the German court-selected psychiatrist. My wife has failed to provide our son with a safe, stable, and nurturing environment, exposing him to harmful influences and situations. Our son has significantly suffered from his mother's illness. He struggles with anxiety and low self-esteem, and my wife has consistently interfered with the professional emotional support that I have fought to provide for him. As an American military father, I am not receiving fair and equal treatment from this foreign family court system. This does not align with the values of the justice system. The Landstuhl court issued a no-contact order under the Violence Protection Act against me with no valid evidence to warrant it. When the court ordered that my wife provide further explanation or evidence to support keeping it in place, she failed to provide any credible evidence. In fact, she simply sent the same evidence that she submitted when she first requested it to be implemented. Still, the court did not remove the no-contact order. It was left in place for 6 months, which meant that I could not go to many of the places I needed to go on the military base where I worked due to concerns that she would claim I had violated the order, which is something that she did one day after it was initially implemented, despite no evidence to support this claim. Furthermore, when my wife failed to attend a court hearing, the Landstuhl family court judge stated that he would fine her for not showing up. However, instead of holding her accountable for her actions, the judge later ordered me to pay her half of the court fees. Lastly, my wife violated 2 court orders in August of 2023, and instead of punishing her for this defiant behavior, the judge threatened that he would take our son away from both parents and place him in the care of the German foster system. The court-appointed guardian ad litem, who previously stated that it would be, quote, dangerous for our son to remain under the care of my wife, has since advocated for the court to remove custody from both parents. Our son is American-born, military-dependent child here in Germany under my Status of Forces Agreement, or SOFA, sponsorship. I've been our son's primary caregiver since the separation from my wife in 2021. I'm involved in his education, health, and well-being. I have a stable job, a comfortable home, and a supportive network of family and friends. I've also enrolled our son in counseling against my wife's repeated attempts to prevent this essential support. I have also supported his extracurricular activities like karate. My wife believes that she takes our son to karate and has stated as much in writing to the court. However, she does not take him to karate, and she even called the karate studio owner's wife and aggressively intimidated her, the karate studio owner's wife, for confirming this information in writing. In late 2023, the Air Force Family Advocacy Office, which is a different team than was in place in 2021, elevated their concern for our son's safety. Additionally, they expressed concern for my safety due to the hostile and frequent nature of my wife's social media posts, which include various unfounded accusations of my behavior. The family advocacy social worker now assigned to our case contacted the German Jugendamt, or Youth Welfare Office, which is similar to the Child Protective Service in the United States, and our son's court-appointed guardian ad litem. Both refused to consider the input of the Family Advocacy Office's observations. German courts tend to favor mothers over fathers in custody cases, but this is unfair, unjust, and an outdated thinking process. Fathers have equal rights and responsibilities as parents and should be given equal consideration and respect by the court. The child's best interest should be the paramount factor in custody decisions, and this should be based on objective evidence, not on stereotypes or biases. Denying a child the right to have a meaningful relationship with his father harms his development and well-being. By not granting me either full custody or, at a minimum, the right to determine his residency, which in German courts essentially means that I'd be able to take our son and move back home to America, the court is effectively removing a healthy father from a child's life. The standing court order states that our son will remain with my wife if I should be stationed in the U.S. The only way for me to describe the behavior of the German family courts, the court's selected psychiatrist, the Jugendamt, and the guardian ad litem is that of gross negligence and willful ignorance detrimental to our son's best interests. I need help highlighting this issue to American authorities to find advocates for our son. He is being held hostage by a friendly foreign court, and they are doing so legally. My military leadership has done everything in its power to try to protect my son. Unfortunately, my wife is not subject to the UCMJ or the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and as a civilian living somewhere off the military base, she has refused to share her address, which is further evidence of her extreme paranoia. Therefore, they are powerless in doing anything to hold her accountable for her erratic behaviors. This issue is because the Hague Convention and the UCCJEA have no provisions for American military members. This foreign government is allowed to retain jurisdiction of our son's custody case and prevent him from going home to the United States. Please consider helping me tell our story. This is not a child custody issue. It is a child endangerment issue. Thank you for watching this first video. Please watch the subsequent videos to learn more.